Episode 36, lads. Tantalisingly close. Can you taste it? Can you smell it? It's there. It's fucking just within reach, and I, for one, will be fucking delighted when it's all over. I've enjoyed doing it. I'm enjoying doing it, but fuck me, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of hassle, and it's a lot of fucking unnecessary strain, I suppose. But look, everything that's worthwhile is fucking hard work. Most things that are easy aren't worth doing. But anyway, before I even fucking start talking about what I want to start talking about, I should stop digressing. My mom texted me this morning. More specifically, she texted me a poem that she thought of. It came to mind having listened to yesterday's episode when I was talking about being essentially fearful of my potential. I'm not fearful of my potential to fail. That doesn't bother me. If the whole off the lead thing, if people just fucking stop listening, or I fall out of love with it and it all just peters out and goes to dust, look, so be it. The net benefit from it is already there. Like the amount of people that have contacted me, and actually on that note, I should have done this loads of times before now. Big fucking shout out to everyone who's contacted me. I am a particularly driven person. I reckon I'd be doing all this shit without anybody contacting me. Maybe not quite so much of it, and maybe I wouldn't be as enthusiastic about it, but fuck me, does it go a long way to hear from you. And thanks a million to everyone who's fucking sent me messages on fucking WhatsApp and sent me emails and messages on fucking Instagram and Facebook and all the rest of it. Fucking thank you. Because again, I don't need it per se. I'm not doing it for it, but fuck me, it goes a very long way. And it just, I don't know, makes my fucking little tiny heart soar a small bit when I get words of encouragement from people who are getting a bit of benefit out of it. Loads of people contacting me saying that I fucking motivated them to monitor their diet, to start fucking working out, to fucking pick up the guitar, start painting, or fucking whatever the fuck it is. Loads of different people. It's been fucking epic stuff. So thank you. But anyway, I'm digressing all over the place. My mom, shout out to Benji. Benji sent me on a poem this morning, having listened to my podcast yesterday, episode 35. So the poem was by this chick called Mariann Williamson. I wasn't familiar with the poem. I was familiar with the first two lines, and I'm just going to fucking recite it here now, if you don't mind. So here goes. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Fucking hell, lads. That first line, the first couple of lines. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. Fucking deadly. Love that shit. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Fucking bang on, bitch. A shout out to Mariann Williamson. Fucking incredible stuff. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. That is fucking nail meat fucking hammer. Or head of nail meat fucking hammer. That is literally exactly what I was fucking talking about yesterday. Now, in relation to the whole God reference, there's two, I think. You're a child of God is one, and what's the other one? We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. Okay, now, a younger version of me or an older version of me, whichever way you want to phrase it, me in the past basically would have read that and went, yeah, fucking deadly, but could have done without the God shit. Okay, could have done without the divisive nonsense. Thanks. But maybe I'm mellowing out slightly, and maybe I'm just not as highly strung as I used to be. I'm kind of getting over myself and my hatred of all things divisive and whatever. But what doesn't bother me about that anymore, I think, is the fact that I'm seeing something to the whole God thing. Now, I just want to fucking I want to crystallize something for anybody listening, and even just from my own fucking head to hear. I don't believe in a god per se, okay? I think this idea of some sort of a supernatural being that interferes with our lives, that gives two shits about what we say, do, or think, anything along those lines is just absolute, utter nonsense. It's just complete and utter horseshit. There being some sort of divinity, for want of a better term, in all of us, something special, some creative spark, something that unifies us, something that gives us all inherent worth or value. That shit I'm all over. Okay? Even like through my experiences with psychedelics, my thoughts on the afterlife have changed massively, to the point whereby, at the very least, I'm open to the idea that this life isn't the only life. And I'm happy enough with the vagueness of that. I don't mind that. Maybe we'll just live on through the memory of others. Maybe we do pass over or cross over into a different fucking dimension, or a different timeline, or a different universe, or God knows what. Who fucking knows? Who fucking cares? The most important thing to remember is that this life, whether it's one of many or not, this life is finite. So my advice to myself and anybody listening is to make the fucking most of it. Okay? You've X amount of years left. Ask yourself, how many years have you left? Have you, 10? Have you 50? Have you 100? That there's going to be an upper limit of it. Then once you've got your rough ballpark figure of, 40, 50 years, say, then what? Well, a third of that, you're going to be fast asleep. Okay? For maybe a quarter of it, you're probably going to be at work. For whatever percentage of it, you're going to be, eating and drinking and going to the toilet and having showers. And once you parse all the time for the necessary bullshit, there's not that much fucking left. So maybe fucking have a think about that the next time you're sitting down to put on the telly and you don't know what you're about to watch. Oh, sure, we'll just see what's on. That kind of fucking nonsense. Do less of that. But anyway, I digress, as always, as is becoming the fucking norm. This is the fucking digression podcast. And speaking of digression, Mike Tyson is fighting Roy Jones Jr. this weekend, and I, for one, cannot fucking wait. Okay? Look, I've never claimed to be a boxing fan. I'm not a boxing fan. I fucking didn't know who Roy Jones Jr. was until his fight with Tyson was announced, alright? Never followed boxing, don't know who the current champs are, never knew who the current champs were, but I know who Mike fucking Tyson is. Okay, and I am tuning in to see him and Roy Jones Jr. box the head off each other this weekend. Saturday night, lads, pay-per-view. Fucking get on the fucking hype wagon. I love this shit. This to me now is fucking entertainment. And it reminds me of something. It reminds me of when Conor McGregor fought Floyd Mayweather in that boxing match. And more specifically, it reminds me of an article I read. I don't know if it was in The Independent or where the fuck it was, but I can't remember the title of the article, but it was something along the lines of the greatest scam in boxing history. And it went on about how this wasn't a real boxing match, that it wasn't this and it wasn't that and it wasn't the other. It was just a big scam, basically. The pay-per-views were robbing people of their money. That's what this article was claiming. That the whole thing was basically rigged, that it wasn't, real boxing, that Conor McGregor had no place in a professional boxing match. He'd never fought a professional boxing match before, so, maybe they had a point to a degree, but as far as I was concerned, I couldn't fucking wait to watch it. And that's all that fucking matters as far as I'm concerned. Another thing it reminds me of, this is a tangent off a tangent off a tangent, but here we go. Remember Gladiator? Remember when Russell Crowe, whatever his character's name was, the main guy in Gladiator, he fought not in the Colosseum, but in kind of a Colosseum, a kind of a poor man's Colosseum. And I think it was his first fight in front of a crowd. Basically thrown to the fucking, not literally to the lions, but he was a slave. He was a big bulky dude, so I would chuck him in the Colosseum and see how he fares against actual gladiators. And of course, he murders the shit out of them, butchers them in 2 seconds, and the crowd are all just left a bit fucking aghast at the blood and the guts and the glory and all the rest of it. And Russell Crowe's character kind of spins around, looks up to the crowd and shouts, Are you entertained? Are you not entertained? Or something to that something along those lines. Apologies for the terrible Russell Crowe impersonation, but you get the picture. Now, what made me think of that is the fact that that's what that McGregor and Mayweather fight was all about. It was about entertainment. It's not boxing per se. It was entertainment. And Tyson, who's 54, by the way, is fighting Roy Jones Jr., who's 51. Not exactly fucking two spring chickens, okay, lads? Not exactly in their prime. But fuck their prime, fuck the sport of boxing, and fuck everything else. This is entertainment, lads. That's what I'm paying for. I'm paying to be entertained, okay? And look, if it's not a boxing purist's thing, then don't fucking watch it. You don't like this podcast? Don't fucking listen to it. Do you know? Take the ownership of being responsible for what you watch. So if you're watching something and you're going, "Oh, this is shit," what are you fucking watching it for? Is there not enough things online for you to be entertained about? Why not write an article about something that you actually enjoyed, as opposed to writing an article about something which you detested? Why not write something that empowered the people reading it, as opposed to denigrated the people reading it? I was reading the fucking thing, and the author was essentially telling me how wrong I was to enjoy what it was that I enjoyed. Like the lack of humility and the absolute utter arrogance of that position. Like, fuck you, man. If you don't like it, don't tune into it. I, for one, will 100% most certainly be tuning into Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. I've literally, just before I recorded this, I did a bit of a Google search on it, and there's things that I'm literally only after finding out in the last couple of minutes. They're not allowed to knock each other out. How that's going to be enforced, I'm not entirely sure. Try telling Mike Tyson not to put enough fucking power into a punch to knock somebody out in the moment. I mean, fucking forget about it. There's going to be no judges, apparently, and no winner's going to be called at the end of the fight, which, again, I don't know. Then again, I don't need judges to call a winner. I'll call my own winner, thanks. Which is, again, this is what I love about these kind of exhibition matches. This is what I love about McGregor and Mayweather. These were the first of their kind. They're new, so they're going to be a little bit fucking objective, and they're going to be a little bit, I don't know, weird and strange and different and new and confusing, and maybe parts of it are going to be a little bit shit, but fair fucking play to the lads. Number one, first and foremost, for doing what they're doing at the age that they're doing it, okay? Apparently it's smashed all fucking box office hits already, and there's still another couple of days to go, and I say fucking fair fucking play to them for it. I, for one, will be paying to see this fight. I'm not going to watch it on no fucking dodgy box for free or any of that nonsense. I'm not going to stream it online the day after. I'm going to stay up till whatever time it's on. It's in Vegas, I think, so it'll be on at fucking 3 o'clock in the morning. But I, for one, most certainly will be tuning in. And I'll be tuning in to be entertained, because there's nothing wrong with being entertained. Okay, now, if you're spending your life just going aimlessly searching to be fucking entertained in the moment, you know, probably not a good idea. A bit of balance, lads. But what I'm talking about is, like, it's like a chocolate bar. There's nothing wrong with chocolates. There's nothing wrong with sweets or crisps or fucking I was going to say Big Macs. There is something wrong with Big Macs. You shouldn't spend money in McDonald's. Another podcast. But, you know, shitty food, really indulgent food that's technically not good for you is fine, so long as you do it occasionally. And it's the same with this fight between Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. It's the same between Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor. If these are the only type of fights that you ever watch, and this is your understanding of fighting, that's an inaccurate viewpoint. Okay, you're not appreciating it for what it is, which is just pure entertainment. And there's nothing wrong with pure entertainment, provided your life doesn't just fucking revolve around indulging in it. But another huge, big thing that Tyson Roy Jones Jr. that hasn't even happened yet, and Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor, that bout between a boxer and a mixed martial artist, essentially. What I love about those two things is it paves the way for the likes of mad cunts like me to start thinking outside the box. Like, I was saying to myself, and people, sorry, I was saying it to myself, but more people were saying it to me than I was saying it to myself, that I was kind of past it, that I was past my prime. Yeah, fuck, right, okay, maybe I'm past my prime. And? Like, what's your point? Once you go past a certain point of peak fitness, you shouldn't fucking train anymore. You shouldn't compete anymore. You shouldn't entertain people anymore. You shouldn't have aspirational goals anymore. Fuck that, lads. I'm going to take a leaf out of Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr., Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor's book, and I'm going to set myself up some sort of fucking mad promotional fight in the not too distant future, and I hope you fucking tune in and pay for the privilege. And on that note, I'll chat to you tomorrow. But before I let you go, I'd just like to remind everybody that this episode and all the episodes on YouTube have been brought to you by past guest and friend of the show, Pat McKeown. Pat is very similar to myself insofar as that he's long had an interest in the mind and more specifically the brain and how they both interact, to such an extent that he went and spent 4 years getting a degree in neuroscience and then spent a further year in getting a master's in psychology. Now what he's done is pretty fucking cool. He's after setting up his own YouTube channel. It's called Pat Psychology Masters and there's a link in the description. Now what he's done here is he's uploaded all the best bits that he's learned over the last 5 years and put them into short, plain English, easy to understand YouTube videos for the likes of myself. His YouTube channel has been a massive resource for me in understanding both my mind and the mind of others. So hit up Pat Psychology Masters YouTube channel, subscribe, give it a like and a comment and a share, all that kind of stuff helps, and I'll chat to you soon.